And welcoming everyone up above Travis Roy Rink in Marion, Massachusetts on the campus of Tabor Academy. I'm JJ Sylvia, joined by Joey Frank once more for another installment of SB Blue Raiders Varsity Ice Hockey here on SB Blue Raiders Studios and Somerset Access TV. And Joey, tonight it's a big test for this Raider squad coming in at 4-3. They have to face a 3-4 Old Rochester team that has been battle tested in the early portion of their season.
Yeah, of course, John. Any SEC game is always going to be a huge battle. Very important games tonight when you play in conference. It's going to be a physical one, just like the last two have been against Dartmouth and Apponequet. Let's key in on the Raiders' defense tonight and see how physical they can play in front of their own net.
The Raiders have had their struggles both in the defensive zone and on the breakout. It's been something they've been working on in a season that has been a big adjustment, Joey, because now you're co-oping 4 different schools when in years past the Raiders were only comprised of Case and Somerset Berkley. Now it's 4 different school districts. It has to be a challenge for this coaching staff to mesh all these new student athletes together.
100%. When you're combining different schools, it takes a lot. You know, you got to accustomed to what kids are used to from the other school and get your kids to gel well with the new kids. It's definitely a learning curve, but so far I think Somerset's done well with it. Let's see if they can continue it tonight and build upon that.
Raiders look to build upon the momentum they've been building over the past few games and look to grab another dub, this time on the road. Let's head down to the ice for the national anthem, and we'll be right back on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. Well, Joey, it seems my habits have gotten the best of me there. No national anthem tonight, so we are back here on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank along with you here at Travis Roy Rink as we get set to go at center ice. We are underway with Bastis winning the faceoff. Somerset Berkley sending their usual first line out of Bastis, Mello, and Evan Barbosa. Old Rochester will counter with a prolific unit of Connor Galligan and Justin Marquez, centered by Caleb Bosquet, with Gavin Austin and Thomas Carico as the defenders, and Tucker Roy, a football player as well, in between the pipes for Old Rochester. Nate Minash in between the pipes tonight for the Raiders. In front of him is Mason Sullivan and Gabe Gonzalves as the defenders. Puck loose in mid-ice, picked up, and on the charge comes Old Rochester. A shot goes over the goal off the stick of Galligan. Galligan still digging low. Met by Bastis and Gonzalves. Bastis tries to trickle it up the board. Galligan looking to advance it for Old Rochester, puts it out of play. That will stop the clock with 14:01 to go.
Yeah, so far, John, I like Somerset's legs so far. They look good. They look good so far. Fast, good start.
Now Aaron Preston in on the draw. They'll do battle with Chase Almeida. Almeida will win it and they'll swing it low. Below goal, Preston to grab it. He'll send it up board. That's Fitzpatrick to shovel it out into mid-ice. That's Cam McKenna. McKenna across blue. His shot goes off the leg of Mike Brown. Old Rochester back quickly the other way. A dump down and in to be chased by Blankush. Blankush up the far board. That's McKenna. Advance forward, and now Fitzpatrick across blue. Brady Fitzpatrick pretty much by himself, looking back with McKenna and Preston heading in. Now back towards Preston, right in front of the goal. He couldn't handle it. Aaron's still digging below. Going up top, Lush. Lush tried to cycle it back for Preston, makes his way back to the near side, back in front. Preston couldn't handle it. Now McKenna the follow-up and a stop for Tucker Roy. That one iced down by Old Rochester. You like to see the intensity from Somerset Berkley thus far, Joey.
100%. They look good so far. Those first few shifts, the legs are going. Notice how on the first few shifts, you can already tell the aggressiveness between Dartmouth's defense last game and Old Rochester's defense. Dartmouth was a lot more aggressive. Old Rochester looks a little hesitant to start. Notice that to the key breakouts for Somerset.
And now the third line out there for Kevin Snyder and his staff, centered by Brett Axon. Axon will get tossed out of the face-off circle. Sylvia will replace him. Evan Sylvia and Carter Sylvia will be the two wingers for this third line to start this one. Kevin Snyder continuing to mix and match his second and third lines to find the best fits against a given opponent. Sullivan the dump down and chasing is Evan Sylvia. Sylvia gets knocked down, and picking that one up and moving it out is Galligan. Galligan the push forward pass. Gonzalez, he'll chase it down, and Sullivan able to stick it away from him. Galligan stays persistent. Up top, Austin, his shot. Not sure if it got to Minash. Old Rochester cycling back into the middle. That one put wide of Minash. That was Marquez. Now Sullivan looking to lead the charge. Mason Sullivan across red and blue into the zone. His shot went off the stick of Jack Langlays. Sullivan digging below goal. Carter Sylvia to grab it far board. Sylvia shovels it back below the goal. Now on the near side, Evan Sylvia providing forecheck pressure. He'll get help from Axon. Axon for Carter Sylvia below goal. Sylvia the dangle, looking back up top. Went off the stick of Marquez. He'll gather and get it out. Marquez across red will dump it in.
So far, John, notice that Old Rochester's wings are coming very low. Look for Somerset to key in on their D. They need to use their D in the offensive zone, and it will help them a lot.
Barbosa on the forecheck. Bastis the shot, and a stop by Tucker Roy. Put back towards Roy, and he'll cover it up for a stoppage. 11:25 left here in the first period. No score between these SCC foes.
Yeah, look for Somerset to use their D a lot in the offensive zone, with Old Rochester bringing their wings so low here.
Bastison on the draw. Wins it for Barbosa. Barbosa to cycle it below goal. Nate Mello to track it down, trying to feed Bastis. Bastis met by Matt Tobin. Now digging is Nate Mello. Towards the far board, Mello with Bastis crashing in to help. Still digging. Mello tried to get out of the fray. Bastis to grab the loose puck. Back up top, Lush. Lush, the indirect for Bastis, and Adam couldn't get all of it on it. Blenkush tries again, and the tip by Mello goes over the goal.
Two chances right there from the D, John. Right here again.
Bastis to swing it around. Barbosa to track it down below goal, trying to find Nate Mello. Was pushed a bit away from them. Barbosa now has it near board. Evan Barbosa up top. Blenkush couldn't keep it in. Somerset will reset in the neutral zone as Blenkush sends it down, and then they'll get a line change.
Yeah, a key thing is going to be SB's D today. They got to generate shots from the point because they're wide open. Puck control and getting shots off from the D today is what I look for.
It looks like Joey's method has been tried and true by the Raiders thus far. No goals, but a good amount of shots. Fitzpatrick on the forecheck with McKenna. And that one trickles right back into the clutches of Roy, as trying to skate across the goal mouth was Jared Freites. Second line will stay out there for Somerset Berkley. Caleb Bosquet in the face-off circle this time against Aaron Preston. Now far board. McKenna in there to help out. Old Rochester trying to clear, kept in by Preston. Aaron Preston top of the circle, whiffed on the shot. It trickled all the way below goal for McKenna to chase it down. McKenna will battle with Cody Souza. McKenna starts a pass cycle up top. Sullivan the shot right into the clutching glove of Tucker Roy.
Yeah, most shots generated so far, John, are coming from the point, which look to Somerset to get in front of the OR's goalie and screen them and get bodies in front for rebounds.
Somerset Berkley knocking on the door, but no goals yet. That one pushed past Sullivan for the moment by Marquez, but SB will reset with the dump in by Logan Rose. Now far board. Marquez able to get it out to center, and it'll trickle down into the Somerset Berkley defensive end. Mason Sullivan off glass will get it out to neutral ice. Fitzpatrick to grab the loose puck. Brady Fitzpatrick into the zone. His shot didn't get the good wood on it. Fitzpatrick still helping in on the forecheck as it gets by Rose back into neutral ice. Mason Sullivan will retreat and reset in his defensive zone. Sullivan up the ice with speed. Down the right side, dangles by one but can't do another. Sullivan looking below goal for the puck as it's cycled around to the far side. Galligan puts it on a trickling puck out to center and down into the SB defensive zone. Icing is the call despite a close foot race. That was won by Blenkush.
So far, Old Rochester's breakouts have been very weak. There's not a lot of support coming from the wings. They're playing too low and they're not stretching out Somerset's whole offensive game. They got to come up a little further on the boards and use their center breakout.
Axon off the face-off win. Mid-circle, the shot goes over the goal on the blocker side of Roy. Evan Sylvia digging as it's pushed up the near board and almost shoveled out to center. Lush can't keep it in. SB will have to come out and come back in. Gavin Kamara with the forecheck. He has the steal. Kamara looking for a pass in front. Gets it there under the stick of Axon up top. Blenkush, the shot blocked by the stick of Jared Freites and shoved all the way down back into Somerset's defensive end for Lush to chase down. Lush up and now Freites will pick it up. Freites for Old Rochester circling. Back into the middle, put it in the skates of his teammate in Bosquet. Put it on goal, Minash able to stop it. Now below goal again, a pass back in front looking for Bosquet. Blocked away by Lush. Bosquet to put it back behind Nate Minash. And he'll keep chasing. A heavy forecheck on this shift by Old Rochester. Top of the circle, a wheel shot right into the glove of Nate Minash off the stick of Connor Galligan.
Somerset's playing good so far, but that last possession right there on Old Rochester, number 8, was floating around the slot very free. I'd like to see them get bodies on bodies. I don't know if they're necessarily playing zone or man, but you'd still like to see them lock up bodies no matter what zone or man defense they're playing in.
That was Connor Foley who took that last shot. The 0s, 8s, and 6s on these Old Rochester jerseys look very similar from up here. As Bosquet, who's now on the ice, gets tossed out of the face-off circle. Bastis will win it. Near board, Barboza will watch it go out to center and back down into the Old Rochester end. No icing. Mello on the chase. Nate Mello back in front, nobody home. Barboza tries to keep it in, but Old Rochester coming forward with Estevez. Estevez to dump it down as he takes a topple in a collision with Bastis. Barboza couldn't handle it near board. Kept in at the line for the moment by Austin before Somerset moves the other way. Barboza looking for Mello. It goes off the post after it deflected off of Gavin Estevez. Luckily, Tucker Roy able to keep it out.
Almost a little lucky own goal there by Old Rochester. Unlucky, own goal there by Old Rochester. It looked like Barboza tried to lift it, but it ended up hitting the Old Rochester defender. It's one of those freaky moment plays there.
Bastis wins the draw. Barboza for Sullivan, and he'll swing it around. Bastis shields, and now Barboza looking to move it towards the goal. It went away from him. Now near board, Connor Foley. The pass up ahead, he'll connect, and on the move is Old Rochester. Freight's advance was shut down, and Sullivan will clear it out and down. That will be an icing. That will allow Somerset Berkley to get a change. Second line of McKenna, Preston, and Fitzpatrick back on the ice. 6 minutes, 37 seconds left to go here in the first period. So glad you could join us on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. Fitzpatrick with help from Preston will get it out. Preston across the line. Cam McKenna was out first.
Yeah, and that was an offside, so good call by the ref. But so far, I noticed that Somerset's breakouts have been a lot better. They're incorporating the centers a lot more, but again, Old Rochester defense is not as aggressive as Dartmouth. They're not pinching as much, and they're not pinching with as much aggression if they do at all. Aggression is going to be one of the keys for either side if they do want to win tonight.
McKenna gathers it in his feet and pushes it into the old Rochester zone. Far board kept in by Blankush. Blankush's shot got blocked. Bulldogs looking to advance. Puck pushed in the direction of Galvati. Now back in the middle, Blankush shuts it down, and now here comes Brady Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick gets by one, has an angle. His shot got blocked. Now loose in front. Everyone trying to grab it. Nobody truly had it. It went off the stick of Fitzpatrick on a deflection and back down into Somerset Berkley's defensive end. A back and forth grudge match thus far. Some shots from both sides, but no goals yet. A 0-0 tie in the early going. Back in his own zone, Connor Foley and Mike Brown there. Blankush to put it off glass after he gathered it in neutral ice. Old Rochester will reset. Mason Sullivan trying to keep it in, kicks it forward for the moment. But now the other way, Matt Tobin with the dump in for the Bulldogs. Crashing in his Bosquet. He's able to take down Blankush, but Somerset Berkley look to move out. They can't for the moment. Marquez into the middle, a deflection back up top, shot whiffed on. Axon trying to get it out. Having a tough time doing it, old Rochester keeps it. The shot by Bosquet is blocked. Bosquet digging against Blankush, wins that battle again, and now he looks for a pass in the middle. Marquez whiffed on it, and it will go all the way back down. Carter Sylvia first on the forecheck. Sylvia engaged in a heavy stick battle with Carrico. Back in front, shot from the point by Gonzalez, just wide, probably got deflected. Sylvia to cycle it low with Axon to crash in on Mike Brown. Axon getting help from Sylvia up that far board and moved out. Chance for Marquez as he moves in 2-on-1. Marquez, the shot and a save by Nate Minash.
And before, John, I noticed on Old Rochester's other possession during their offensive play, Marquez was wide open. He just whiffed on that shot. That would have been a great opportunity. That's what I'm talking about before. SB has to get bodies on bodies in their defensive zone, but they're going to allow a lot of good opportunities.
Raiders looking to cash in on an opportunity here with their highly touted first line back on the ice. That one blocked by Mello at the point. He'll have a chance to bring it down. Nate Mello, the slap shot, and a pad stop by Roy. Far board, Barboza trying to keep it in, pushes it back towards the goal, but gathering it is Estevez, and he'll send it down in the direction of Gonzalez, who takes a topple. A chance for old Rochester, and a shot goes off the mask of Minash from Chase Almeida. Bastos and Barboza working in mid-ice, taken away from them. Back the other way, it's Connor Foley, the shot, and squeezed onto by Minash.
So far, Minash not crazy tested, but so far he's been good. I like the way he's playing. Against Aponequa, I thought he played really well, and so far I like him again.
Nate Minash, who has a knack in the early portion of this season for stepping up when he's called upon. 3:46 to go in period number one. Still zilch here in Marion. Bastos wins it and puts it below goal. Sullivan getting help from Gonzalez. Gonzalez now for Mello and Bastos to tip it out into neutral ice. He'll chase it down with Barboza. Barboza in there with Bastos. Puck goes high off glass. A weird bounce gets it out to Galligan. Galligan for Marquez. Marquez, the shot. Another stop for Minash, and pushing it out of harm's way is Bastos. Old Rochester still pressuring. Basquet watches a deflection toward Marquez, looking back in front, nobody home. Shoveled back below the Somerset Berkley goal. Basquet looking back in front, got blocked on its way to Marquez. Another try, also unsuccessful. Puck on the stick of Sullivan. He'll wrap it around to the near side with Barboza crashing in. Barboza will get a chance to gather it. He does. Could be a 3-on-1 if they hurry. Barboza the shot, save Roy. Another chance as he batted at it, and he wasn't able to grab it. Old Rochester looking to turn D into O. The other way quickly is Galligan. Can't get it on goal. Now Almeida crashing in on Blankush. Has it taken from him by Blankush, and Barboza will slap it out to slow the pace. That will be an icing.
if I'm Coach Snyder right now, I'm telling my guys we got to get bodies on and we got to stop watching the puck in the defensive zone. Bodies on bodies, sticks on sticks. It's going to be a big thing because when Old Rochester does maintain offensive possession, they're getting a lot of guys floating in and outside the slot.
Chase Almeida in on that try. He wins it up top, and a shot goes over the goal off the stick of Thomas Carrico. Now below goal cycling, it is Foley. To this near side, Grant looking back in front. Sullivan to push it up for Fitzpatrick, who takes a topple, gets back up and sends it down for Preston to chase. Carrico to grab it first for the Bulldogs. Met by Preston as he comes from behind his goal. He'll need to get some help as Chase Almeida will cycle. He'll look, and it goes off the skate of McKenna, so Carrico will have to gather it again. Far board. Elliot Grant couldn't handle it. Stolen. Fitzpatrick for Preston. It went off his skate. Old Rochester looking to clear. Blenkish to keep it in. Now McKenna dangling in the slot. McKenna the shot and a stop by Tucker Roy. Lush stepping in. His shot blocked multiple times as it trickles toward Roy and he dives on it.
I think if McKenna just gave him one look on the backside there, they might have had a goal, but either way, a good shot. Either way, a good shot and a good opportunity.
And a great save, too, by Tucker Roy, who's had to make plenty of those here in this first period, with Somerset continuing to knock on the door for goal number 1 of this contest.
100%, John. So far, Roy's been very tested, and he's passed so far, so good for him.
Gonzalves can't keep it in. Trouble brewing. Potential 2-on-1. And Mason Sullivan says no to Connor Galligan. Bastis trying to dump it out. Nate Mello will help and get it up ahead. Barbosa. Barbosa with Bastis coming in. Dangles. Puts it almost through the legs of Roy, but he'll keep it out. Barbosa looking back into the middle. Mello is there. It'll be picked off and pushed out by Galligan. And finishing the deal, putting it down into Somerset's end is Bosquet. Gonzalves looking to get it out to center, one off the skate of his teammate. He'll have to gather it again. Gonzalves pushed it up and it's dumped back in by Galligan. Marquez the first one to get it. He'll be dressed off the puck by Mason Sullivan. Sullivan up the near bar. Barbosa couldn't win that puck away from Gavin Austin. Barbosa getting help and they get it out to center at last. Nate Mello to grab the loose puck. He'll head into the zone. Mello looking back for Barbosa, pushed off his stick by Chase Almeida. Almeida has it picked off by Bastis, and now Sullivan the shot over the goal. Mello back in front, nobody home. Gonzalves to get it in mid-ice. He's got to hurry, gets it away, and it's picked off. Old Rochester looking to gain the offensive zone. They'll wait and head in, and the period will come to an end with no goals on the board in a heavy battle here tonight in Marion that could go either way, with momentum shifting back and forth and shots firing from both sides. Back up here in the booth, JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, the fight from both these teams is evident, and it really shows just how important this game is to both squads.
100%, John. Both teams going back and forth on the offensive side. Not as physical as I thought for a conference game, but so far I like SB's breakout. If I'm Old Rochester, though, I want to be more aggressive with my D. Take a few chances. Don't be afraid to get physical and lay a hit or two and risk it. Tell your offense to play a little more passive. Maybe that winger or center that's been floating around the high slot, tell him to play a little more passive, and tell your D to be more aggressive and lay a hit or two, because that's what Dartmouth was getting away with doing against Somerset, and they're having success. So far, I feel like Somerset's outplayed them. What Somerset needs to do is just finish. They've been getting goal leads so far. Roy had a very good period, very tested, but he definitely passed the test like I said before. What do you think?
I really do have to agree with you, Joey. Tucker Roy stepped up, Nate Minash stepped up. Both goaltenders have kind of highlighted this first period in a lot of ways. We talk a lot about the defense and offense, but the goaltenders are just as important in these games as well. We're going to see how these goaltenders can push their teams to victory as we get through the rest of this one. We'll take a short break for Joey Frank and I. Will be back for the second period here on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. welcome back in, everyone. Once again inside Travis Roy Arena. Joey Frank and JJ Sylvia with you. And Joey, now that we've gotten through that grudge match of the first period, Old Rochester is going to be looking for someone to step up on home ice and propel them to a victory the rest of this way. Who do you think is going to be that person for the Bulldogs?
Well, John, before we went to break, I talked about Old Rochester being a lot more physical. Look for defenseman Gavin Austin. I'd like to see him step up and come out with a big hit, maybe to start the period off. Could lift his team and hopefully gain momentum while they have the puck in the offensive zone.
Old Rochester does have a good student section in attendance tonight as well. That could play a factor, as Carter and I talked about during the basketball game most recently. Those student sections, especially at hockey games in a small arena like this, could play a big factor in terms of momentum, intimidation, and how it swings.
100%. Look at last game. Dartmouth always brings it. Their crowd was loud and they were there. Look for maybe Old Rochester's fans to get up and get loud here early to help boost their team, because so far I felt like Somerset has outplayed them, but they have had possessions in Somerset's defensive zone. So let's hope the fans can get into it here.
Let's head back down to ice level as we get underway here in this second period. Second line out there for the Raiders as we start. Face-off won by Preston, and sending it all the way down with a no icing call off a tip is Gabe Gonzalves. Digging below goal, that's Preston. Preston for McKenna, trickling puck found by Preston. He's looking to gather it. The ice a little sticky here at the start of this second period. Preston off the ricochet from the board, looked to put it toward goal. Got blocked by Langlays. And Old Rochester on the move. Coming the other way, but not able to advance much past his blue line is Bosquet. Bosquet will keep digging. Looking back in front, nobody home, and it will go all the way back down towards Tucker Roy in the OR/Fairhaven defensive zone.
100%, John. And like how I talked about being physical before, Old Rochester number 25, Justin Marquez, is a big Fairhaven football player. Look for him to get physical as well.
Bastis looking back in front, almost got to Mello. Adam will keep it and give way for Sullivan. Sullivan's shot got blocked. Bastis to keep the pressure going. It hopped off of his stick. Gonzalves barely able to keep it in. Now Barbosa for checking. He gets crossed up by Foley, and Old Rochester will move. Pass into the middle, Freights. He has a chance. His shot, shoulder stop by Minash. Bulldogs looking to keep it in their zone, push it below goal. Sullivan, the hard pass up the far board. That's Barbosa. Barbosa up for Adam Bastis. He'll gain blue. Bastis cutting into the middle, can't get the shot off. Bulldogs looking to turn it the other way quickly. Mello tried to shut it down, but Old Rochester Fairhaven will dump it in with Connor Foley. Nate Mello the steal on this near board. He'll look up ahead. Barbosa into the zone. His shot and a stick save by Tucker Roy. Blankush to track it back down in his defensive end. Has it taken from him. Chance brewing for Old Rochester back in front, and Blankush will push it out of harm's way. Axon the other way for the Blue Raiders. Into the zone, puts it toward goal, sticked away by Roy. Axon up top, Blankush, his shot, stop Roy, a rebound chance for Sylvia, and he scores. Evan Sylvia breaks the ice here in the second period. It's 1-0, Somerset Berkley.
Right there, John. What did we talk about all first period? Generating offense with shots from the point. It all started because Old Rochester left the point wide open. Number 7, Blankush gets a good shot and a rebound. They get bodies in front and they bury it. Great play by Somerset. Great shot by Blankush there.
That third line that just tallied the first of this contest will stick on the ice. They now have Gavin Camara at wing to go along with Axon and Evan Sylvia. Lush gets hit hard by Marquez, who lost his top, and they'll have to blow the play dead to allow him to get it back on.
And what did we just talk about 2 shifts ago? Justin Marquez getting his body involved. And right there, I like that. Yeah, the helmet came off. Put the strap back on and get back out there. I like that from him.
Looking like the physicality starting to pick back up And now Somerset Berkley will get a line change in along with the Bulldogs. Old Rochester sends their second unit out to counter Somerset Berkley's second unit, and they'll move the draw out to center ice area just in front of the Old Rochester bench. Face-off won by Preston, and Sullivan looking to shovel it forward. It was on the stick of Langley's for the moment. He'll get help from Almeida to get it down and in. Sullivan to wrap it to this near board. Pushed back down low by Langley's. Trickling back up top, a shot from the point never made its way through. Still loose in front. Mason Sullivan trying to clear it away. Old Rochester staying on the pressure attack before it trickles back out and down into their defensive end. Cam McKenna, the first to forecheck for the Raiders. He's pressuring heavily on Galligan. Kept in at the line by Sullivan and pushed below goal. McKenna chasing. Now the physicality picking up a nice hit there from McKenna. Pushed up the far wall all the way down. That will be an icing, and it will bring the draw back in front of Tucker Roy.
Yeah, see how Langley stepped up there and kept the play going in the offensive zone? They had a missed pass in their offensive zone, but I like that. Continue that from Old Rochester personally. Step up, keep it in, be physical.
And it's back to a battle of the first lines here in Travis Roy Rink. Bosquet versus Bastis on the draw, and Bosquet wins it. Pushed up this near wall. Mason Sullivan tries to keep it in. It hops out of play. Face-off will stay in Somerset Berkley's offensive zone. Sullivan and Gonzalez as the D pairing for the Raiders to counter Galligan, Bosquet, and Marquez. Out this far wall trying to find Galligan. Taken away from him, that's Mello, and Galligan gets Mello back before Mello does him one more. Mello to Bastis to slap it in. Barbosa chasing it down far board. Evan Barbosa hops off a check, wraps below goal. Barbosa up top, Gonzalez. His shot wide on the glove side of Tucker Roy. Sullivan looking backdoor. Barbosa, what a blocker stop by Tucker Roy. That'll be on his highlight reel. Maybe even on ESPN's top 10. Now back to the side. Barbosa again dangling. Couldn't get it through. Puck trickles back up top. Gonzalez puts it toward goal. It went into the skates of Sullivan. Old Rochester trying to clear. They'll get it out to center and back into Somerset's defensive end. Barbosa looking to keep the hot shift going for the first line. Finds Gonzalez, who's met by Marquez, and he goes down. Bastis in to help, but it's kept in at the line. Shot from the point, tipped towards the goal, and Minash trying to cover it up and gets help from a whistle.
Loose puck there. I got a little scared for the Somerset defense, but good shift by the first line there. They created a lot of momentum using the point. Look how much time and space they were giving Somerset's defense. So far, keep using it. If I'm Somerset, keep using that D.
Accident on the draw as the third line reemerges. Evan Sylvia the steal at the point. He'll lead Carter Sylvia. Carter Sylvia into the zone. Will push it low for Evan Sylvia to chase. Now up the far board. Axon trying to keep it in with help from Lush. It'll get back to neutral ice. Blenkush trying to find Lush. He'll get his stick lifted, but a delayed offsides will give Somerset Berkley time. Blenkush up the wall for Carter Sylvia. Sylvia gets hit hard against the boards right in front of Old Rochester's bench. Bulldogs the other way. Pass toward the middle, went off the skate of Lush. Now Blenkush near board. Out to center for Carter Sylvia. Sylvia across red and blue into the zone. Got tripped up. And Somerset Berkley will be heading to the power play.
And look at that. Carter got right back up. Took a very big hit there. Old Rochester gained some momentum off that. Carter got right back up. Took a great breakout pass. And he caused a penalty. Way to stay with it.
An excellent effort there from that entire third line to set up the first line with an opportunity to add another tally for the visiting squad. 9:17 to go in this second period. 1-0 Raiders off the goal from Evan Sylvia. Looking to add, and Old Rochester will delay that, at least for now. It's iced all the way down. Blenkush will have to reset. William Blenkush for Mason Sullivan. Sullivan off board for Bastis on this near side. Bastis in with a ton of speed. His shot just wide. Roy tried to grab it with the glove. He couldn't. Sullivan for Barbosa. And now Bastis. Bastis cycling, goes up top. Sullivan. Sullivan will trade with his co-captain. Bastis, the toe drag. Had no lane, so we'll give it up Barbosa. Barbosa will trade with Bastis, and now Sullivan. Somerset Berkley being patient. Sullivan, the shot goes wide. Bastis trying to keep it in. He can't. Raiders resetting in neutral ice. Bastis turns on the jets and heads up ice. Adam Bastis by 1, by 2, and a nice defensive play on the back end to prevent that goal. It looked like getting his stick in the lane was Cody Souza. Somerset Berkley sticking with the same 5 guys here, with some changes actually. Now McKenna out there. Bastis, his shot tipped a bit, almost got to McKenna in front of the goal. Sullivan can't keep it in. Old Rochester pushes it out to center. Raiders trying to reset. Blenkush took a topple, still able to push the puck forward, and now Barbosa into the zone. Evan Barbosa trying to shield the puck, looking to shovel it toward goal as he dived on the ice. And Old Rochester will get it out and push it down. Only half a minute left on this Raider power play. Blenkush for McKenna. He'll tip it up for Barbosa. Barbosa quickly met with a stick lift by Chase Almeida, and once again Somerset Berkley will have to reset. Now only 10 seconds left on the man advantage. Up the far wall. Couldn't be handled by any blue. And back it goes in their defensive end, and Blenkush up ahead for McKenna, who will slap it into the zone as the power play comes to an end. We're back to even strength. Mason Sullivan looking for the steal. He's got it. Sullivan getting help from Gavin Kamara. Kamara looks up top. The puck trickles to Silvio. Put it just wide, looking for a second. Back at center ice, Gonzalez has a push past him. Axon on the back end will restart it for the Raiders. Brett Axon gains speed and gains blue as it brushed off his stick by Connor Galligan, but it gets low nonetheless. Now Gavin Kamara to grab it. Kamara off board. Sullivan up top. His shot wide. Puck trickles back out to center. A chance the other way for Old Rochester. Fairhaven. Shot goes wide from Bosquet. Some strong play from the Bosquet line. Him, Galligan, and Marquez have had plenty of scoring opportunities in this one for Old Rochester. It's only a matter of time before they find a way to score as well, as that one will be down for an icing.
I think it was a little bit offsides too there, John, and I think he might have tipped it. But either way, it should have been a whistle.
Let's see where they set the face-off up. Kevin Snyder and his staff having a quick discussion with the officials about where the face-off will take place. It will be all the way down in front of Nate Monash to his left. 6:06 to play in the second period. Preston won it, forced up top, shot block. And now Rose below goal. Trying to go up the near board. Old Rochester will send it right back around now to the far side. To gather the loose puck, it's Preston, and now Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, the backhand pass, looking for McKenna. McKenna will chase it and get help. Preston gets it out of the feet of an Old Rochester player, then gets decked. So Somerset Berkley will send it back in and chase. Far board. Hops onto the stick of Elliot Grant for the moment. He'll get some help from Jarrett Freitz. Freitz trying to dance into the slot. Nowhere to go for him. Old Rochester to gather it below goal with Grant. Grant gets it taken away from him, and now Somerset Berkley on the charge. Fitzpatrick dances around one defender to get possession, looking back in front. Almost got tipped in to the goal by an OR Fairhaven player. Back down into the Somerset Berkley defensive end. Rose off the near board. That's Preston. Aaron Preston into the middle. Fitzpatrick has to find it in his feet, and he'll send it down. Nate Mellowin on the forecheck looking in front. Barbosa trying to charge in. He couldn't get there. Mike Brown took a topple, and that'll give Somerset a chance back the other way, and an offside called.
Might have just been a tad bit. I couldn't really tell, but ref's call is a ref's call there, John.
That was a bang-bang play indeed. Nonetheless, face-off on the far side, just outside of Somerset Berkley's offensive zone with the first unit back on the ice, paired with the D pairing of Blankush and Lush. They'll be countered by Old Rochester's first line once more. Lush off the face-off, Loss trying to keep it in front of him. Getting help from Barbosa as it triples to Blankush. Blankush for Barbosa. He turns the other way and turns on the Jets. Evan Barbosa by one defender for Mello into the zone. Chasing it is Bastis. Getting help from Barbosa. It goes up top. Lush, the slap shot, gets tipped right into the stomach of Mike Brown. Brown to circle it around. Blankush charging in to keep it in for the moment. He'll get help from Barbosa. His shot goes over the goal. Lush on the other side keeps it in. He'll take the shot. Tipped multiple times. Roy kept it out. Barbosa. The backhand pass looking for Blankush. Got picked off by Galligan. Now the other way. Bosquet into the zone. That shot got blocked, I think. Somerset Berkley can charge the other way with numbers. Bastis over the line, muscling his way past Mike Brown before it's pushed to the other side by Marquez, kept in by Lush, pushed toward goal. It's now behind. Some physicality between Bastis and Mike Brown, and a penalty coming. Looks like Lush will be heading to the box. Actually, my initial assumptions were wrong. Heading to the box is Caleb Bosquet. And Somerset Berkley, their second power play opportunity of the game with 3:21 to play in this second period.
Yeah, look to Somerset to get a little more cross-ice passes here. They were getting it a little bit on the first power play, but they weren't connecting as much. Look out for Bastis here.
Mello finding Preston. A different look for this power play. Much different set of guys. Cross-ice pass connects for Brett Axon. Axon looking low, that's Preston. Aaron Preston for Fitzpatrick. Far board, Brady Fitzpatrick cycles below goal. Fitzpatrick with a ton of speed and space back in front. Blocker stop for Roy. Grabbing it is Axon. Somerset Berkley still pressuring. A chance for Preston. He can't grab it. Axon will try, and a stop for Roy as he hugs on to that near post. Mello almost got tripped up. No call. Axon, his shot. Stopped by Roy. Minute left on the power play. Fitzpatrick dancing. His shot. Roy the stop. It's loose behind him, and he keeps it out. Tucker Roy reaching behind him and covering it up before Brady Fitzpatrick could swing at it.
He's been playing outstanding, Roy. The Somerset second power play got a lot of shots there, but they weren't great angle shots. I'd like to see them to pass a little bit more, get the goalie going from side to side, and create a more one-time passes instead of just circling around the low end slot and getting shots there. But the first power play comes out now, so in my opinion, you're going to see a lot more passing. You're going to see a lot more cross-ice connection here.
Back to a battle of the first lines. Everybody except Bosquet out there for Old Rochester, and Somerset Berkley with the usual suspects. Only substitution being McKenna because they're on the power play. Mello, his shot, gloved down by Roy. It's loose underneath him, and he'll completely flop to make sure nobody can grab that puck.
He's going to have close to 25-30 saves, and it's almost going into the third period, so Roy might be looking at a 40 save plus night tonight. I don't know. He's got to at least have 25, I'd say, John. What do you think?
My guess is as good as yours. I'd say about 25, 30 shots faced already, only 1 goal in. Somerset Berkley looking for a second with 44 seconds left on the power play. Face-off won by Bastos, got stuck under the ref's skate. Now Mason Sullivan back for Bastos. High circle going for Barbosa low. Barbosa looking to go back for Bastos, went off the side of the goal, but Adam gathers it nonetheless. Up top, Sullivan. Cycling, his shot, looking for an indirect tip. Barbosa had it for the moment, but Roy was able to push it off the stick enough that Old Rochester can clear. Mason Sullivan with 10 seconds left on the power play, charges forward, looking to do it himself. Sullivan dancing in, looking back in front, nobody home. Bastos trying from the mid-circle, got blocked, and Old Rochester will clear as we're back to even strength. Bosquet crashing in first on the forecheck. He gets it from Nate Mello. Bosquet looking back into the middle. Galligan was in front of the goal. Near side, Chase Almeida digging against Sullivan, gets it lower. Nate Mello below his goal, trying to grab it. Pushes it up for Barbosa. Barbosa muscling his way out to center, gets help from McKenna. Cam McKenna charging into the zone. Barbosa was offside. Face-off right in front of Somerset Berkley's bench. And now a combination of Axton, Fitzpatrick, and Preston. Axton trying to move it forward, hops onto the stick of Freites. Jared Freites getting help from Chase Almeida. Freites and Almeida will work together to get it low. They'll get help from Connor Foley. Foley wheels in front, and a shot. Stopped by Nate Minash.
In that backside D for Somerset's got to find a body there. Number 17 on Old Rochester was high slot. He's going to come up and get man-to-man with him. It was allowing he had to force the winger for Somerset to come down and cover him.
Face-off won by the Raiders, and Fitzpatrick will charge ahead. Brady Fitzpatrick staying with it. Finally gets hit off the puck by Jared Freites, and a penalty on the way. Looking like it might be in terms of the retaliation by Fitzpatrick, and that is the case. So after one chance on the power play for Somerset Berkley in the last few minutes, now Old Rochester looking like they'll have a power play of their own. At least that was how it seemed at first glance. We'll wait to see what the official word is. And it looks like it will be a power play for Old Rochester.
It might be a 5-minute here, John. I saw the ref giving 5, and now he's talking to Coach Snyder on the left of us. Yep, it's a 5-minute major penalty, I think, for punching. Fitzpatrick has to keep his head here. That is a huge mistake in a 1-0 game. They've outplayed Old Rochester for most of the game, but big mistakes like that turn the tide and turn the momentum huge.
This 5-minute power play does not expire with a goal either, so it carries over into the third period and gives Old Rochester Fairhaven a huge opportunity to get back in this one, down 1-0. 10 seconds left in the period. Not sure how much Old Rochester will be able to get done in that short amount of time. Bastos forechecking, and he gets hit down as the period expires. Now it's looking like we might have some 4-on-4 as the third period gets set to start. That will be the case. Referees restoring order here as this period comes to an end. A 1-0 Somerset Berkley lead still, but when we come back for the third period, it will most likely be a 4-on-4 for the first 2 minutes. Back in the booth, JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, Somerset Berkley comes out at the start of the second period, breaks the scoreless tie, and then we start to see mistakes from both sides that could have cost either of them. We are, I'm sure, both quite surprised that it's only a 1-0 game at this point.
100%. I felt like Somerset has kept most of the momentum the whole game, applying a lot more offensive zone pressure than Old Rochester. But again, the mistakes. Fitzpatrick takes not so good of a major penalty there with a punch, but luckily his captain Adam Bassis makes a good play on the penalty kill, hustles well, and causes a penalty. We're going to see 4-on-4 for about 2 minutes, but then Old Rochester's still going to go back on the power play for 3 minutes, going into about 12 minutes within the third period there. So minimize the mistakes. They're going to see 4-on-4, a lot more open ice here. I think Somerset's definitely going to have the advantage. They seem like they have a lot more speed than Old Rochester so far from these first 2 periods. I think this is an advantage for Somerset, but again, you still don't want to take those stupid penalties. We've seen, not so much in the Dartmouth game, but in the Apponequet game, we saw a lot of stupid penalties. Would you agree that Somerset has been on and off with being able to keep their discipline well? How do you feel about that?
I think discipline, we've talked about it already, Joey, in this game. Discipline and how they handle that physicality and not having to retaliate is really going to be the difference in this game, in my opinion. We'll see how this game shapes out the rest of the way. Third period on the way after another short break here on SB Blue Raider Studios and Somerset Access TV. Here at Travis Roy Rink in Marion for one more period here tonight between the Somerset Berkley Raiders and their opponent out of the SCC, the Old Rochester Fairhaven Bulldogs. And Joey, a 1-0 lead for Somerset Berkley, but the next 5 or so minutes are going to be very tough.
Yeah, I look for them to use their speed here on 4-on-4. They're going to see a lot of open ice. Key guys like Nate Mello and Evan Barboza use their speed and gain offensive zone possession with speed. Speed is big here. They have a big advantage over Old Rochester with that. So with the open ice, I look to them to get maybe a goal or 2 before they have to kill a 3-minute penalty with their speed.
And Joey, Old Rochester, if they're somehow able to claw back into this one and grab a dub here at home, they're going to have to really give big thanks to Tucker Roy.
Oh, 100%. He's been keeping them in this game the whole night. I would say it's a 4-0 game without him, personally. Hopefully they can play a little passive here during 4-on-4. Again, Somerset owns that advantage with the speed. Play a little passive, then you got a 3-minute power play. This game's far from over. It's only 1-0 despite being outshot a lot. Old Rochester's, in my opinion, comes out of these first two periods good despite being outplayed.
Let's head down to center ice and see how the rest of this one goes. JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. Joey, now that we start this period with a 4-on-4, it's Bastis, Barbosa, Mello, and Sullivan. So 3 forwards and 1 defenseman out for the Raiders. Gavin Austin and Jack Langley's out there as the first 2 for Old Rochester. They'll be joined by Caleb Bosquit and Connor Galligan as the 4 total for Old Rochester. And Old Rochester will await the end of this 4-on-4, and then regardless of any goal scoring, it will remain at least 2 minutes and 43 seconds more of man advantage time for the Bulldogs. So opportunities for both sides here at the start of this period. The 4-on-4 could maybe favor Somerset Berkley with the opened up ice with 1 less player for either side with the speed of players like Bastis and Barbosa, but also if you're Old Rochester, you know you have the speed and you know you have that man advantage coming up in a very short while.
100%. The way that they counter Somerset's speed, control possession. It's going to be 4-on-4 for a while, for 2 minutes, but control the possession. Pass a lot, in my opinion, get some quality shots, and wait for that power to play to come, because you're going to have a full 3 minutes. So if you can maintain possession, you can go into your power play with a little bit of momentum. And again, possession.
And Joey, we talked about it earlier in the game. Somerset Berkley was feeding the point a lot more, getting a lot more shots from up top Old Rochester in that second period seemed to have started to adapt to what Somerset Berkley was doing. They were getting a lot more crash-ins when those passes were going up top. Now, what would your strategy be if you were head coach Kevin Snyder?
Hey, still use the point. In my opinion, Old Rochester's bringing their wingers a little too low. Continue using the point, continue to generate offense from point shots.
Galligan looking to dance around Sullivan. He'll keep the puck in the corner. Galligan below goal for Bosquet. Bosquet back in front. Galligan pushed off his stick by Nate Mello. Keeping it in is Austin. He'll go D to D, and a shot is stopped by Minash. Barbosa for Mello as Somerset Berkley looks to advance. Mello goes off board and down towards Tucker Roy with Barbosa crashing in, and Roy will cover it up just before number 15 in blue can do any damage.
Yeah, and see how Old Rochester started off those first 20, 30 seconds with possession? I like the few passes. They got 2 shots on that. I like that. But then you see Somerset comes right back with that speed. A little bit chip from, I think it was Bassis there, and Barbosa came right down the lane with speed.
A minute and 28 seconds left on the 4-on-4 before we go to a man advantage for OR. Up top, Sullivan. His shot. What a stop by Roy. A rebound, and Bastis seals the deal. 2-0 Somerset Berkley in this 4-on-4 situation.
Bastis with a great play there to finish it off. Roy with a great save on Sullivan, but there's just not much he can do. His players got to get bodies on bodies. In my opinion, that's not Roy's fault there.
Tucker Roy has been giving his A++ effort tonight here at Travis Roy Rink. But now Somerset Berkley, kind of a negative on top of a positive here because they get the goal on the 4-on-4, so the power shifts a bit more in their favor. But now they have a penalty kill that they have to go through, given the fact that Old Rochester is back to the man advantage, and now 4 minutes and 2 seconds of that man advantage not negated by a goal because it's a major.
Well, I think we're going to stay 4-on-4 here. I think this was a clock mistake here, John. We're going to stay 4-on-4 because they're matching penalties. It wasn't... Yeah, we're going to stay 4-on-4 for 119, so we're still going to get that 2 minutes and 43 seconds. We're not going to get the full 4 minutes and 2 seconds. Maybe, we're in 119 here, 119, and they'll both be released. So we're still going to play 4-on-4 for a little bit.
Sullivan to move forward for the Raiders. Minute and 8 seconds left in the 4-on-4. Sullivan wraps around up top. Has it pushed just enough off his stick by Chase Almeida to get it out to center. Sullivan will have to restart. Mason Sullivan with Almeida still glued to him. Back for Barbosa. Dangles by one, then another, and a shot blocked. Sullivan to keep it in. Mason Sullivan dangles by one, then two. Moving in. Roy keeps it out, but the rebound put in. It's Evan Barbosa. 3-0. Somerset Berkley.
Great play by Barbosa there to follow the play and crash the net. He saw the loose puck and just buried it on his backhand there. Mason Sullivan controlled that play for a while, dangling through defenders and created another opportunity. 2 great plays by Mason Sullivan caused 2 goals for Somerset. Again, what did we talk about before the period started? 4-on-4 was going to favor Somerset, and this is the most goals they scored so far. A lot of ice and a lot of speed.
I'm going to have to refresh my memory, Joey, on the USA Hockey rules, because there was the initial penalty by Fitzpatrick, and then a few moments later there was the separate penalty where Bastis got knocked down. So I thought maybe with the goal by Somerset Berkley, the 4-on-4 would be negated. I guess my hunch was wrong, but a chance missed there for the Raiders. Old Rochester looking to move it out. They will. Lush trying to keep it in front of him, and Old Rochester will charge forward with Galligan. Galligan the shot. Minash the stop. Now Bosquet passes it back, and looking toward the backside was Austin. Nobody home. A shot from the far side stopped Minash, and the play whistled dead. Looks like the goal came off.
You know, now that you're saying it, John, it does make sense that you would think that he would come out of the box there, because I didn't even really think about that. It makes sense that he would come out of the box there. I might have to refresh myself as well.
I I was having this conversation when I was going to some games for the Providence Hockey Club, which is how should I put this? Probably a prospect league type thing. And there's different rules for that league as well. There's icing rules that are different. Like on the power play, they can call icing for the team on the kill. Very interesting. So rules changing all the time. It's hard to keep up, especially for players like us who have been removed from the high school game for a good couple of years now at this point.
100%, John. And now there's so many leagues that kids can play in. I mean, Massachusetts is one of the most popular states for hockey in the U.S. So you see leagues coming up with all different types of rules because there's so many new leagues coming in and out of the state, you know?
Old Rochester looking to take advantage of this man advantage. That one going just wide of Minash. Pretty much the best of the best out there for the Bulldogs. Up top, a slap shot from the point is stopped by Minash. Mike Brown trying to get his name on the score sheet. And Nate Minash says no. 12:08 to go in this one. And a minute 51 left on the man advantage for Old Rochester Fairhaven off of that major penalty by Fitzpatrick. Face off to the right of Minash, won by Bastis. Sullivan will chop it up the near board, kept in by Mike Brown. Brown to shovel it around to the other side. Galligan looking to dig. It went to Barbosa, who got it out. Bastis on the forecheck. Old Rochester will send it back in for Somerset to reset. Sullivan. A high soaring one that Barbosa will try to track down. Icing waved off, and Roy will push it away, and a whistle looking like for a high stick. So the face-off will stay in front of Tucker Roy.
Somerset bench was confused there, and so was I, but I mean, it's going to give them an advantage here with an offensive zone face-off, especially with 1 minute and 22 seconds. If they win this here, they could kill off most of it. Well, not most of it, but, you know, a good portion. And here we go.
Bastis won the draw, but tried to win it back for Sullivan, and it was not exactly where number 5 was stationed at. Pass back in front, swatted away by Bastis to the near board. Sullivan gets the redirection and swats it up ahead. Now Barbosa will charge forward. Barbosa already with one, shovels it towards Tucker Roy. He'll swat it down and give way to his teammates. Cross-ice pass will result in an icing. And Tucker Roy will see some more action as the face-off will come back down in front of him to his left.
And it looked like he was trying to connect with Marquez there, but it just went past him a little bit, but yeah. Good, you know. Here we go with another offensive zone face-off for Somerset on the penalty kill.
I was just about to note that. We are on the kill here if we're watching as a Somerset Berkley fan, and yet it seems like it's even strength. Sullivan the shot, a nice glove save by Tucker Roy.
And he's just been generating chances all game long, John, from the point. Again, Old Rochester has struggled a lot with covering the point with their wingers.
Bastis lost the draw that time. Wrapped around to the far side, Matt Tobin. Tobin has it taken away from him by Barbosa. Barbosa trying to trade with Sullivan. It gets back to Minash. Now Old Rochester looking to pressure. Loose puck will be gathered for the moment by Gavin Austin. He'll do battle with Mason Sullivan. And now Austin retreats and looks for a lane. Austin, below goal, had it dressed away from him by Sullivan. Now on the far board, trying to gather it as Barbosa. He will, and he'll clear. That will pretty much conclude the power play for Old Rochester. 2 seconds and 1, and we're back to even strength. Bastis looking for Axon. Went behind him. Axon looking to go off board for Blankush. That one pushed past Blankush by Connor Foley, but he can't advance any further. Blankush crosses red and dumps in. Fitzpatrick, the first one to forecheck for the Raiders. Fitzpatrick had it for the moment. It skips to Axon, looking for Sylvia at the back door. Nice defensive play by Foley. Another shot by Evan Sylvia, and it'll be stopped and covered by Tucker Roy.
A good little attempt there to get to Sylvia. I think it just bounced off another Old Rochester player, but good penalty kill by the Raiders there. And 9 minutes on the clock, 3-0 lead. It looks good for Somerset right now.
Evan Sylvia and Carter Sylvia out there centered by Brett Axon. A bobbling puck gets to Gonzalez. His shot went off the shin guard of Axon. Gonzalez will try again. That one stopped by Roy as he slid across the crease. Axon wheeling. Sends it to the other side. Evan Sylvia couldn't track it down. Instead, it's Freites. He tries to send it out farboard, kept in for the moment by Blenkush, but now a steal, and here comes Galligan. Galligan trying to push it towards the middle, getting help from Marquez and also Bosquet. Nobody can get it on goal. Now Galligan trying to find Bosquet. It got blocked. Pushed back towards goal. Minash to stop, and now Gonzalez will go to Sylvia. Evan Sylvia across the line. He's met by Bosquet and hit off the puck. To the far side, Axon goes high off glass down low. Carter Sylvia's there. Sylvia with space. Wheeling top of the circle, back to the slot. His shot just wide. Sylvia still pressuring on the forecheck. Gets hit from behind up against the board. And that will be another power play for Somerset Berkley, and the second one drawn in this game by Carter Sylvia, Joey.
Hey, he's taking a little beating, but he gets right back up and he sticks with it. I'll tell you that. That's, hey, two great plays. He's aggressive in the offensive zone, and it causes a penalty for Old Rochester. And now Somerset's going to go back on the power play with 8 minutes left and look to capitalize here. I mean, their first power play has looked very good today. So, again, let's hope they bury it here.
Raiders up 3-0. 8:41 to go in the game. Sullivan gets the feed from Mello. He's trying to evade Connor Foley. He'll get help from Bastis. Bastis, top of the slot, looking for Barboza. He can't tuck it in. Goes just wide. Sent into the middle. A one-time chance off a pass from the other team. Sullivan put it just wide. Barboza below goal as the Raiders have a minute and a half left on this third man advantage of the game. Barboza into the middle. McKenna and Bastis were there, and neither of them got it. Now moved out of the zone. Up ahead comes Chase Almeida. Nate Mello strips him. Bastis the other way, trying to get to his spot. Can't do it. He's hit off the puck. Coming in is McKenna to help. And kept out by Roy. Barboza looking back in front for Bastis. He's going to keep digging for it and force it below goal as this unit on the power play has been relentless on the forecheck. Bastis gets it back and goes up top Sullivan. The two captains will trade, and now it's Barboza below goal. Barboza for Bastis. It hopped off his stick. Sullivan to back him up. Sullivan dangles by one below goal. And now in the near corner. Sullivan wheeling at the top of the circle, back up at the point. He's gone around the world, now up the middle. Sullivan put it off the shoulder of Roy. Old Rochester will finally clear it down to Minash. 20 seconds left on this Somerset Berkley power play. Long pass from Mello, connects with Barboza. It hopped off his stick a bit. He'll wrestle with Langlays, who will get it away from him. Near board, Mello hit down by Langlays. That was Sullivan hit down by Langlays. Back the other way. Barboza, the shot blocked. Sullivan trying to keep it in. Mello to back him up. He's got to hurry. Sullivan in mid-ice. Gains blue. Had it pushed off his stick. Back the other way. It's Bosquet for Old Rochester. Bosquet trying to deep put it off the skate of Nate Mello. And now Mello will kick it up to himself and go up ahead with Aaron Preston. Mello into the zone. Finally hit off the puck by Bosquet. He'll stay persistent. Trying to pressure Connor Galligan. Galligan looking up for Marquez. Marquez has it. He'll dump it in as he crosses blue. Near board, Foley trying to advance. He has it in the slot. The backhand goes wide. Foley looking back in front. A chance, and Minash will cover it up with Galligan crashing.
Yeah, I wasn't really a big fan of the power play there for Somerset. I would have liked to see a little more passing, a little more, generating more. I mean, they generated offense, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot of one-man show. I want them to really show how the system works and pass the puck, make that goalie go side to side, because Roy's been great all night. I mean, you're not going to be able to beat him one-on-one. You got to make him go left or right.
Preston for Axon. Drops it back. Fitzpatrick had to take it away from him. Almost skipped right on goal. 5.5 to play. And another power play on the way. This time for Old Rochester. Still pressuring as Chase Almeida back in front. Nobody home. It'll go all the way back out to neutral ice, and Mike Brown will trade with Bosquet. Bosquet heads up ice with the delayed penalty still on the way. Bosquet the shot and a glove save for Minash to bring on a power play for the Old Rochester Fairhaven Bulldogs with 5:06 to play. A chance for them to chip into this 3-goal Somerset Berkley lead, Joey.
Sorry, say that again, John?
A chance for Old Rochester to chip into this 3-goal lead that Somerset Berkley has on this power play.
100%, and they need one here. I mean, they don't get one soon, this game's looking to be over, that's for sure. Fitzpatrick with not a great hooking there. I mean, you'd like to see him use his legs a little bit more and get his body involved, but either way, Somerset's PK has been good tonight, so let's see if they can continue it.
Old Rochester resetting in their defensive zone. Bosquet across the line. It dribbled behind him. He barely noticed it until the last second. Now below goal, Galligan. Up top, Bosquet. His shot blocked by Blankush. And Axon will clear. Minute and 30 left on the man advantage for Old Rochester Fairhaven. 4.5 minutes to play here in Marion. Brown below goal. A pass back and a shot stopped by Minash. Jared Freites took that one. Now Foley looking to go back up top for Brown. It went off a skate and out to center. Brown retreating back into his defensive zone, and he'll reset. Brown trying to lead Almeida. Went onto the stick of Lush. Almeida trying to forecheck. He'll get help from Marquez, who will get it low. Marquez for Foley, who will cycle it back below goal. Galligan. Up top, Langlays. His shot blocked by Lush, and Lush will clear it. Half a minute left on the Bulldog power play. And a power play that could get them back in this one if they can tally, but Adam Bastis has a steal there, getting help from Barbosa trying to clear. He can't. Kept in, and a shot from Langlays is stopped by Minash. Puck loose in front of the Somerset bench. Barbosa and Bastis on a 2-on-1. Barbosa's shot off the post. Back the other way. A 2-on-2 for the Bulldogs. Shot blocked and goes over the goal and out of play.
Barbosa rang iron there. Roy better give that top left corner a tap, because it could have been 4-0 just like that.
Kevin, 1 second, he's out. Hey.
1 second left on the Old Rochester power play. 3 minutes, 7 seconds left in the game. 3-0 in favor of the visiting Somerset Berkley Raiders. McKenna off the draw win, has it pushed off his stick by Langlays. And Jack Langlays will push it below goal. On the near side, Matt Tobin trying to push it back below goal. Fitzpatrick dressed it off his stick, trying to get it out. It's kept in by Austin. Gavin Austin, pass over and a stop by Minash, denying Matt Tobin. Preston trying to dangle out of his own zone, can't do it. Tobin back on the advance for the Bulldogs, pretty much on his own, will dump it below goal. Chasing is Bosquet, as Old Rochester will be forced to reset. Now Galligan across blue, going wide right side. His shot stopped by Minash, and he'll cover up the rebound opportunity with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left.
Yeah, so far, John, big thing I noticed tonight is the physicality within this game. I noticed the last 2 games against Apponequet and Dartmouth have been a lot more physical, favor Somerset a little less. Tonight, Old Rochester hasn't been as physical, and it's favored Somerset more. It allows their speed to get going and allow them to enter the zone with a lot more possession, like this. Right here we go.
Evan Sylvia, one of the goal scorers for the Raiders, enters the zone and dumps it before it wraps around back to the far side and out into neutral ice. Sullivan heads into the zone. His shot sticked away by Roy. Back at center ice again, Axon. Cross ice for Sullivan, and now Gavin Kamara dangles by one and then shut down by Nate Tank. Kamara will get another shot. Taking his time, he'll dump it in. Minute and a half left in this one. Somerset Berkley. As we look ahead for the Raiders, next game for the team in blue will be against Nantucket tomorrow, a 1 p.m. game at home. This one will be live on YouTube. Keegan Hamlet will have the call. Not sure if both Joey Frank and Mikey Alves will join him, but either way, it will be a great one to watch. Next game coming up for the old Rochester Fairhaven Bulldogs. They will head on Monday, Inauguration Day and Martin Luther King Day, to Gallo Ice Arena. They'll face off against Hanover at 3 p.m. Minute and 10 left. Barboza digging below goal. As it trickles up this near board, Barboza trying to send it back low, continuing to forecheck as it's pushed out to center. Foley back for Almeida. Chase Almeida, glued to by Bastis, will just shovel it forward. Lush lost it in front of the goal. Minash to help him, and Bastis to come the other way with a ton of speed. Adam Bastis into the zone. Near corner, had the puck dressed away from him by Foley. Now Langlays, far board. Fed it forward. Good forecheck by the Raiders, but old Rochester will break it. Almeida, his shot, glove down by Nate Minash. 29 seconds exactly left in this one, and Joey, a huge improvement for Somerset Berkley. Not only in terms of just results, but the grit, the physicality, the determination. A big difference from their last outing in a 7-6 loss to Dartmouth.
100%, John. Don't want to take any credit away from them, but they play a less physical team in Old Rochester compared to when they played Dartmouth. Old Rochester allows them to come into the zone with a lot more speed, what Somerset wants to do. I look to see if Somerset, next time, they play tomorrow against Nantucket, I'm going to keen in on how physical Nantucket is, because that's going to be a lot against Somerset. If they are physical and they're more like Dartmouth and how Apponequet played them, they won't be able to do what they did tonight, skate around with a lot of possession. They're going to have to play more of the dump game, get to the corners, and be more physical.
As Joey was speaking, a melee in front of Nate Minash, but he was able to keep it out. Still 3-0, 5 seconds left in this one. Somerset Berkley with this victory will improve to 5-3 on the season, 3-0 in the SEC. Old Rochester will drop to 3-5 and 1-2 in the SEC. As the final horn sounds, this one comes to an end with a 3-0 victory for Somerset Berkley. Here in the booth one last time. JJ Sylvia, Joey Frank with you. And Joey, that third period, Somerset Berkley showed a lot more discipline and grit, which in the end paid to their benefit.
100%. And the period started with 4-on-4. And when we talk about pre-period, the 4-on-4 is going to be a big advantage for them due to speed. Somerset is a team with a lot of speed from the first two lines, and they want to gain possession in the offensive zone through the speed and through the rush. They don't necessarily always want to be dump and chase, but tomorrow against Nantucket, we'll look to see how physical Nantucket is, because if Nantucket plays more of a style, like I was just saying, like Dartmouth and Apponequet does, Somerset might struggle a little bit more. So, you look to try to find that balance between gaining offensive possession with the rush and dumping and chasing. Tomorrow's game is at 1. So what did you think about their play today, John?
I was really impressed by Somerset Berkley, a big bounce-back effort, but I was also impressed by old Rochester's forechecking and the play of Tucker Roy. If you're head coach Zach Ledigar for old Rochester Fairhaven, Joey, you have to have some positivity coming out of this one based on the performances of some of your best.
100%. A 3-0 loss, in my opinion, to a game that they got heavily outplayed is not bad. I think Tucker Roy stood on his head a lot. He made a lot of good saves. most of Somerset's goals were rebound goals. You know, one-on-one, Tucker Roy stood up, and he was like a brick wall tonight. I thought he played well. In my opinion, he would have got one of the stars of the game if they handed out 3 stars. But yeah, what did you think about his play as well?
I have to be impressed with it. I mean, it was really a goalie battle at points tonight between Roy and Minash, and both of them stepped up in their own ways. Obviously, Minash with the shutout tonight, so that's huge for him. And as we head into a huge matchup, Joey Frank will be on the call tomorrow. I'll take a step aside for Keegan Hamlet to slide into my position. But for now, for our entire SB Blue Raider Studios crew, the Somerset Access TV crew, and my partner, Joey Frank, I'm JJ Sylvia, wishing you a good rest of your night from here in Marion, Massachusetts.